I'm Thom Bateman, and today we are going to make this pork schnitzel-ish with celeriac, remoulade, burnt apple ketchup, and we're going to do it all in the dome. First of all, I'm going to roast some apples. That was unnecessarily dramatic. I'm going to put these apples straight into the dome. Just do nothing on them, just going to roast them until they're borderline burnt, really, because they're just trying to draw out the natural sugars. I've used Braeburn apple, doesn't necessarily matter. It obviously just gives a different flavour. If you use Granny Smith, for example, that'll be sharper, which would work fine. I just quite like the sweetness against the anise of the celeriac and the savouriness of the pork. We'll get on with the remoulade while they're in there. I'm gonna try and not take my fingers off. Obviously, be careful if you're using one of these. So this is quite nice. I'm just going to leave this like this, basically. It's just shaved really thinly. If there's any big bits, I'm just going to pull it apart. Just with a little bit of lemon juice on there, just so it's not going to go brown. You want to start breaking down that vegetable with the acid. Egg yolk, a little bit of Dijon, a whole grain, wee bit of lemon juice, and a little sherry vinegar. I like the sweetness that provides. Salt, and just break that up, and then you start making our emulsion. So this is just a neutral oil, sunflower oil, veg oil you can use, avocado oil if you've got lots of money. But that's pretty much done. That comes together quite quickly. You just stream in the oil, don't whack it in all at once, otherwise you're going to get a big oily mess. So that's essentially mayonnaise for the remoulade. To taste this for seasoning now, needs a tiny bit more salt, a tiny bit more lemon juice. Don't want to go too acidic because I've obviously already sort of dressed that celeriac a bit. I'll mix through our celeriac. Then just going to add some truffle for a little bit of indulgence. So the last thing we need in this is some parsley, which is going to give a nice freshness to all that earthy goodness. Beautiful, vibrant, fresh, zingy. Okay, so those apples are now roasted, sort of on the edge of being a bit burnt. I'm alright with that. That's kind of the idea, drawing out as much of the natural sugar as you can. Ideally, you keep them in the tray. So, I'm going to add those to this blender. And then these are some medjool dates that I've steeped, so just in hot water, so they've gone nice and soft. And this is sherry vinegar. This is light soy, caster sugar. Can use brown sugar. And liquid glucose or glucose syrup. You could. Oh no! I saved it. I got it. It's one of the trickiest substances known to man to handle. You could use honey instead of that if you want, but you can just get it from the supermarket. It's really easy to find. And that was a splash of water. Now I'm going to blend the living out of this, and then pass it through a sieve to get rid of any of the sort of lingering lumps. Those apples were quite warm when they went in, so that's not a very responsible thing. I should have told you to let cool down. But if they do go in warm, just be very, very careful when you open it. You don't want a face full of hot apples. Well, you might do, but it sounds weird to me. And pass this through sieve. That glucose sort of really brings it to a nice ketchup-y texture. That's what I was looking for. That's what it's there for. So pass this through the sieve so it's super smooth. Such a fascinating watch, this, isn't it? Watching someone push something through a sieve. Ooh, yes, that's very nice indeed. Yeah, sometimes I surprise myself. Maurice is back. That it's ketchup done, so that just needs to sort of cool down a bit now. We'll get on with some pig. Okay, so the pork. I've got some loin chops here, and I've left a thin strip of fat on there. I'm just going to nick it all the way down, and the reason for that is so it doesn't curl up when it gets too hot. All I seem to do when I come here is beat the out of stuff. couple of pieces of parchment and this rather sinister looking truncheon type thing, which is heavier than it looks as well. So that's flattening it out a little bit, but also tenderising the meat, as the name suggests, makes it more tender. Okay, so season this now on both sides, salt and pepper. Press that in just to try and get it into the meat a little more. So flour first. Always good to have one dry hand, one wet hand, so just use one hand for the egg, otherwise you're going to get yourself in an almighty mess, or have to wash your hands between every one. It's just plain flour, beaten eggs, and then panko, which means breadcrumbs. You don't need to say panko breadcrumbs, although a lot of people do, including me, until someone corrected me on TikTok. So I've warmed up this cast iron in the dome, and then really it's just a case of making sure you've got the heat under control. You can sort of test it a bit. See, I can see that's not too hot. So what I'll do is warm the oil back up, because if it's not warm enough, the oil will make the breadcrumbs soggy. Okay, so that oil should be nice and hot now. Gonna drop those chopped in. Gives it a reassuring sizzle that it is actually hot. You just need to keep a close eye on them, because they'll burn quickly if you don't. So we're going to give those a little flip. See that golden crust starting to form. Pull the snits out, it's nice and golden. Drain off the fat, then go into the pan with some butter. You're going to get that melted, and get the schnitzel back in, get basting. Schnitzel back in, and then I'll give that a baste, and then stick it back in the dome for another couple of minutes. Repeat the process, and it'll be ready. And put it onto the tray. Salt, a lemon. We're ready to put this together. Schnitzel with our celeriac. So there we have it. This is my pork schnitzel, celeriac, remoulade and burnt apple ketchup. Full recipe is on the Gozney website, gozney.com. Really good. Yeah, very, very happy with that.